Hey everyone, welcome to Broadband Deployment News. So there are some electric cooperatives in Arkansas that are celebrating a milestone of connecting up over 1 million folks in the state. Be right back with more. Hey there, Rick Husey with Corm. Thanks for joining me for Broadband Deployment News. There are what I would call a cooperative of cooperatives in Arkansas. It's 17 electric cooperatives that work together and have been working together. This is prior to broadband, I believe. But here you see the story. Cooperative Fiber Network delivers broadband capability to over 1 million Arkansans, maybe. Little Rock, Arkansas. The electric cooperatives of Arkansas are celebrating a milestone in high-speed internet broadband access throughout the state, as cooperative fiber providers have delivered broadband capability to more than 1 million Arkansans. More than 40,000 miles of fiber have been installed collectively by 17 cooperative broadband providers. The providers include 15 local broadband cooperative providers, a cooperative middle mile fiber company, and a wholesale broadband provider. Upon completion of the current cooperative fiber projects, 53,000 miles of fiber will be installed in rural areas and provide high-speed, dependable internet service to more than 1.3 million Arkansans. According to Vernon Buddy, this is Arkansas, so we have buddies here in Georgia as well. So according to Vernon Buddy Hasten, President and CEO of the Electric Cooperatives of Arkansas, much like the tremendous task of providing electricity to remote areas of the state, the locally owned electric cooperatives have overcome many challenges to deliver broadband services to areas that otherwise would not be served. And that is a big point to be made about electric cooperatives wherever, because they were established to help provide electricity to these areas that were hard to reach in the early years when electricity was new. We had a similar thing with telephone cooperatives. So they are a perfect entity to be able to deliver broadband across areas of states that are hard to reach, where you don't always have a big cluster of people. So you've got farmlands and you've got very rural communities, and they've already got infrastructure there. They're obviously billing these folks for power or providing power. They've got utility poles or underground utilities that are delivering services to these folks. They are member owned, so it does help there as far as you've got generally the opportunity to maybe keep costs down because you don't have the need for a profit like you would for a for-profit company, which does increase costs. So, yeah, and perfect entities to be able to do this. So it does really help. The locally controlled cooperatives exist to improve the quality of life of residents in their communities, Hasten said, just like electricity transformed rural America and rural Arkansas back in the 30s and 40s. High-speed broadband is transforming rural Arkansas today. No longer does a person have to live in a metro area to have access to lightning-fast internet service. No longer do young people have to leave their communities to work for a national or international company. So that's another important point. As you have these smaller communities, this really does help from an economic development perspective, allowing people to be able to work from home, allowing these smaller locations to attract businesses, those kinds of things. So these are all good points. He added that high-speed internet levels the playing field for rural Arkansans by providing equal access to educational services, medical services, and enables small businesses to compete. Nearly 80% of the cooperative fiber investments are self-funded without grant subsidies. So they've taken some grant money, but you see that they're funding most of this themselves. And I'm sure they'll be, looking at potential BEAD funding, possibly to fill in some areas. Certainly Arkansas has over $1 billion, just a little bit over $1 billion that they're supposed to be getting from BEAD. It's going to take a while for that. So that's probably not going to hit until, I'm not sure when they got in there. Everybody's pretty much got their second volume of their initial proposal in, but we're talking about late 2025 to very possibly, and actually most likely, early 2026 for most of the states to be able to start getting the fiber in the ground or whatever the broadband service is going to be at that point. So it's going to take a while. So this is good that they're moving ahead and they've been working on getting this done. And every home and business that they connect now is just a home and business that does not need to be connected later using BEAD funding. So it's going to make that money go even further. So I want to take a look a little further into this about these, to look at who these cooperatives are. So again, these are 17 cooperatives in Arkansas. So just a couple of things here. So you see at a glance, 17 member cooperatives, 34 board members. They have 315 employees. Across that, established or incorporated in 1942 as a nonprofit electric cooperative in Arkansas. So I'm assuming that means the cooperative of cooperatives. 950,000 approximate monthly readers for their Arkansas Living magazine, and a few other little things there. And then as far as who they are, you can see if you go to the Find Your Cooperative. And by the way, I linked to this article and a couple of these pages in the description of the video. So if you go to Find Your Cooperative, you'll see who they are. So you got Arkansas Valley Electric, Ashley Chicot Cooperative, CNL Electric Cooperative, etc. So you can see who all of those are right there. And then I want to get an idea of where they were in the state, because I think they connect over 60%. Is that what? Yeah, here it is. Today, cooperative service areas cover more than 60% of the land area in Arkansas and include more than 500,000 homes, farms, and businesses. So this is something that confused me, the 60% and then the 500,000 homes, farms, and businesses. So they say that when all is said and done here, they'll be connecting up more than 1.3 million broadband subscribers is kind of how it sounded. Or I don't know if that, I'm assuming that means homes passed and businesses passed as opposed to actual subscribers. But and then here they talk about the 60% of the land area includes more than 500,000 homes, farms, and businesses. So I don't know if they're counting people as opposed to locations. So again, I didn't understand that discrepancy, but I did want to look at where they're located. So I looked for their outage map and found that here. And I didn't understand this either. Actually, this was different from what it was the other day. So they did actually, yeah, the first day I was looking at it, there was only this section that was lit up. These areas that are experiencing outages, but not very many. So here you see this dark green is 1 to 99 as far as people that do not have service. And, you know, that's one member at a couple of these, two members at a couple of others. So it's not it's these people whose power out. Maybe they had something happen there. So this is not, they were not affected by Helene. They're far further west, I believe, than would have been hit there seriously. So this is their outage map. This is kind of cool. You can click weather layer, and I don't know if you'll be able, yeah, okay. So you can see rain. That's a little neat feature there. But I wanted to see where these folks were, and then actually look at the FCC broadband map and see the operators, whatever broadband providers there are there. I had a hard time finding. I just looked at a couple. I haven't found one of their cooperatives that are providing service yet. So I'm not sure if I'm looking in the wrong spot. Maybe they haven't gotten the map updated. I don't know. So I was looking here. Again, as you look, you can highlight these, which ones are which. So if I want to select one like Lee County right there, I can go in here. I can say, cooperatives. I can pick one like Lee County, let's say. Can I find it? I'm just going to pick one that I can find easily. Let's say Craighead Electric Corp. And I can highlight that, and then that's where they are. Or I can also pick somebody else. Whoops. Let's say Farmers Electric, and highlight that. And that's right there. So, and then I was looking, so I saw Jonesboro here is covered by, I guess that was Craig said, electric right there. So I pulled up the map. Is this Jonesboro? Yeah, so this is Jonesboro, Arkansas. So I set this to be wired only over 100 by 20. And you can see, you know, as you zoom out, I mean, it's got 100% coverage really pretty much everywhere. This 57% coverage, let me zoom in on there. Yeah, so there's a couple of places here. These look like businesses. Maybe that's why they're not listed. But if I click there, it says not served, and it does not have anything over 100 by 20 that is wired. So you got DSL from AT&T, and you've got some satellite. And I'm assuming that's going to be the same for all of these. But then right here, you've got this. So again, these might be buildings that are not actually. Here you got AT&T fiber to the prem, so you could certainly get that there or there. So I'm assuming again these are not locations that need to have internet, or they didn't. When AT&T was doing their report, they did not list these locations. They could be new locations or new dots that were added to the map since they filed. So I don't know what all that means, because this is going to be the same thing here. AT&T. Zoom out and go maybe in some of these areas. that look like they have complete coverage, and I'm going to see the same thing. Got AT&T Fiber to the Prem. I've got Right Fiber. That is Ritter Technologies. So they've got both of these guys have got 5 gig symmetrical. Got Optimum. That's a cable operator, 940 by 35. So that's DOCSIS service. You got same as far as T-Mobile. It's not 5G, but you got fixed wireless there, and you got Viasat, HughesNet for satellite, and you're always going to have Starlink. So Starlink is advertising 220 by 25 here. So all of these things are available. And as I was moving around, this turns red when you slide it over, but then it eventually fills in. Yeah, except for these areas. So again, this is probably business. It's showing it's got just the DSL service, but yet if I go here, that's probably AT&T. Yep, AT&T Fiber to the Prem. So I'm not finding the service from the co-op here as I look for it. So that was Jonesboro. And I went around the map, couldn't find them. Then I looked for another location. This is Star City, Arkansas. I think that was down, I forget where that was. Can't remember. It was one of these, somewhere in the state. I was looking for another small location, small town city. And I'm finding the same thing as I was clicking in here. I couldn't find the cooperative. So here we've got Swift Connect that's offering 1 gig symmetrical. So I've got GPON there. And that was the only provider that I found as I was clicking around. It might have been, I can't remember. I might have found another one as I clicked on one spot. But here you see Swift Connect. You got Brightspeed, TSL, right? But that's pretty much it. Again, you got Starlink in this area at the 220 by 25. And I looked, I looked for some more rural areas where it could be, okay, well, maybe here's where they're providing service. Here's this little location all out by itself here, but that is still Swift Connect, 1 gig service way out there. Got all these locations out here. See if they turn green or if these are really red. These look to be really red out here. What is this? This is still Star City, and it's saying they do not have fiber here. So these are some locations that don't have it. So maybe these are areas that are being wired or by the co-op, but right at this point, they're not listed. And this data is about 6 months old, generally. It's probably on here when it was last updated. Let's see. Last updated October 1st. Okay. This is October 1st. Oh, I'm sorry. Data as of December 31st, 2023. So this is really old. So this is due to be updated pretty soon here. So it's over 6 months old as far as some of this data. So again, there's nothing here, nothing here. These are some long driveways. This one, not so much. That's a normal driveway. So again, nothing there other than we've got DSL and satellite, but yet right here is where it looks like the margin is where we've got Swift fiber. So again, I don't know if the co-op is wiring this up or has wired this up and is now, ready to turn it on or is already turned. I don't know. Because again, this data is as of December of last year. So that's Star City. I looked for one more. Fayetteville, Arkansas. That I remember that was up somewhere in this area, I believe, when I was looking at it. Fayetteville, Arkansas. So this one I noticed right off the bat, I had lots of red dots and I wasn't sure why, because they're all kind of intermingled, and they all do look like, again, well, some of these do look like they could be businesses as I zoom in. So maybe these are not classified that way. So we have what look like residential homes, but then we've got some larger red dots on larger things here. I've got a green dot right here. That's got AT&T 5 gig symmetrical. Could be a business account. Same here. Doesn't say business though only. We've got Cox Communications. We got Ritter here in this area. So Ritter's available for business only. It's interesting that they don't have that on the residential, but maybe because it's a business. Let me move out here to some what looks like purely residential areas in this area, Fayetteville. These look like homes here, obviously. So let's see what we got. So I got AT&T 5 gig. I've got Cox 1 gig by 35. So that's DOCSIS. Got satellite, and then I got Ritter 10 gig symmetrical available for business. I don't know why they're not offering to homes in this area. If they could offer that. Looks like the same here. same thing. So again, what I am not seeing is the electric co-op. I did look a little further out if I remember properly. I was looking for, like a farm. Yeah, this is something off the beaten path here, kind of, I guess. You got Cox out there. You've got this may be it. Ozarks Go. I think that is. I'll look it up after we're done here. I believe that is the electric co-op service. So here we're going out here. We've got Ozarks Go. So these are areas that we still got Cox. We don't have any other fiber, but we do have Cox at offering a gig by 35 DOCSIS cable modem service, and then we've got Ozarks Go offering 1 gig symmetrical fiber, and that's, I'm sure, the same on some of these areas out here. So there they are. So I'm pretty sure Ozarks Go is the electric co-op. And again, there, and here you see we don't have Cox available. So here's where the electric co-op really can help, is on these far-flung areas where, for another provider to try to connect these up, you can't make a economic case for it, which is why we've got all this BEAD money flowing, is to try to make an economic case to at least get the service deployed. You still got to manage it. You still got to do maintenance on all of these far-flung locations, but the big chunk of cost of getting it deployed, BEAD funding helps with that. And again, for electric cooperatives, they're in a really good position to be able to leverage some existing infrastructure that they've got, rights of way, pole access, those kinds of things. They've already got, again, a relationship with the customer, so they're in a good place there. So you see here, same thing. So we've just got satellite, and we've got Ozarks Go. Starlink's advertising in this area the same speed, that 220 by 25. So here, I'm glad I went a little further this time. So I'm starting to see where the electric cooperative, this is interesting. Same thing. So here, got Ozarks Go 2.5 gig symmetrical, and that's, again, about it. You do have AT&T out here with copper, so you got DSL service, but Ozarks Go is definitely making a difference here for the folks that live in this area to be able to get high-speed internet. You do have Cox out here, it looks like, so a gig, their cable modem service, but again, you got Ozarks Go with their 2.5 gig symmetrical. Here's, again, you got Cox. So it's going to vary with the other providers. There's maybe a few more clustered folks here that a typical provider would be willing to make the investment. Again, you've got Cox out here. But again, some of these areas that are very remote, that's where it helps having a co-op. This is probably, this has got Cox here again because it's not that remote. There's lots of other locations here. So I'm glad I found those. I was having a hard time. I'm sure I wasn't going to look at every map in every single location, but I just was kind of getting a feel for what the lay of the land was. So I'm glad I found that. So again, this is good for Arkansas. It's good for their BEAD program moving forward, again, because as they cover all of these homes, more and more of these homes with their service, then they do not need the BEAD funding, and that can be used for some of those really difficult places to reach. And the electric cooperatives could possibly be applying for that money if they're going to be difficult for them. So they have access, they have the ability to do that via fiber, which is going to be their first preference. And I would think the electric cooperative would try to do that if at all possible. But, fixed wireless is an option. And even if it gets down to unlicensed fixed wireless or Starlink is still an option according to the NTIA on the absolute last method of resort as far as connecting people up. They are making that available because there are going to be just some locations, probably not in Arkansas, but maybe in some other areas where, maybe so in Arkansas, who knows, where it's just trying to get fiber somewhere is just way too cost effective. You break the budget, and that's not good either. So anyway, good for them. And it's very interesting that they've all kind of pooled their resources together for various things, including broadband. So I think that's a great model and maybe something other states and cooperatives should follow. Appreciate you joining me today. Thanks a lot. If this was interesting or helpful, if you give me a like on the video, I would like that. And if you're not subscribed, click the subscribe button, ring the bell, and then you'll be notified when I'm live. And I will see you next time for Broadband Deployment News. Take care. Bye-bye.